This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by the manager of Avni Yildirim, Ahmet Öner, here in Miami. Ahmet, how are you?
How are you? Thank you very much. I'm fine.
It's good to hear. Now, obviously, we're only 2 days away from your man challenging Saul Canelo Alvarez for the WBC World title, the Ring Magazine belt, the WBA title. How's Avni doing?
Avni is doing very well. He takes it very easy and it all pushes him forward to the target.
Heading into this fight, many see Saul Canelo Alvarez as a big favourite and Avni is the underdog. What do you make of it when you hear that?
You know, Avni is affected. He don't like it. I'm realistic. Of course, he's an underdog. He's a Turkish fighter. What did Turkey so far in boxing? 2 guys I brought out before, Sinan Sam and Selçuk Aydin. Never one of them made it to a world champion, winning a title. And with Avni, boxing starts or ends in Turkey. So, and people don't say, oh, there's an American or Mexican or English, whereas the boxing culture is very deep in their blood. So, and Avni has to be an underdog on paper. He has 2 losses, 1 clear loss, 1 controversial loss, and now nobody has the last fight on their minds. They only see Canelo shining, Canelo, Golovkin, Kovalev, Amir Khan, whatever, many names. But to be honest, what he did against Golovkin, first fight, a draw, second fight, a win. The first draw was no draw, in my opinion. The second fight could be a draw or a win for Canelo, but the first fight was a win for Golovkin. And against Lara, what he did there, please. So he's not God. He's a good, really champion. Boxing needs Canelo. Guys like Canelo, pay-per-view stars, superstars, DAZN, all these things here, 200 countries, whatever, blah, is great. Without Canelo, right now, impossible. So, praise the champion, he's good. But we have a guy who's hungry, Avni Yildirim. And I think he's dangerous. And I think people underestimate him, don't do it. Avni is a big man, Avni is a big boy. Avni is, in my opinion, body-wise stronger than Canelo. Avni is taller. He's also coming from a poor background. He has no rich father and mother. So he's hungry. He's fighting 16 years in his life. He has the experience lost by Eubank. This experience he showed me in the Anthony Durrell fight. And he has a great coach. We took always better coaches. We started with me. I helped him. Then I said it's too much for me after we come to real opponents. Now we had other coaches before. We tested all good ones, and Joel Diaz is a real coach, and I think they both have bad intentions.
We'll come on to Joel Diaz and the link up there in a second, but there's been talk about what's next for Canelo throughout the 5 week. He's going to go face Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. When those names are mentioned, is it disrespectful in your opinion that all of those fights have been mentioned for Canelo, even though he still has to overcome the challenge of Avni Yildirim on Saturday?
Yes, but all the things is disrespectful. How they produced the fight in the beginning. Yeah, we are fighting February 27, Avni Yildirim. Then we fight Billy Joe Saunders. It started already. So in their mind, they overlook already Avni Yildirim. So in my opinion, maybe they have a right, but they don't count injuries. They don't count anything. Lucky punch. They don't count that Avni knocks him out, that Avni beats him by decision, that there is a robbery. What they will do then, for example, if Canelo beats Avni on a controversial decision, will he then again go to Billy Joe Saunders? If he does it, then I say no, boxing is nothing. I don't believe that he can do this then. So I think on Saturday, they should more respect my boy. They don't do it, okay. Our history in boxing from our country is not so big. I give them this. I understand it. So, and we will see, but don't underestimate my fighter.
From what you're saying there about the scorecards, if there's controversy, with that in your mind, does Avni need to stop Canelo? Do you think if he was to go to the cards, even if Avni was to outperform Canelo, he wouldn't be given the right decision?
Listen, Canelo is like a factory. He's a multi-million-dollar project. We are honored to be here. But of course, there are people around him. They are seeing Canelo shining. And if Canelo does a jab, wow. If Avni does a jab, maybe don't see his jab. If Avni makes, how you score, the score judges, I saw it by Dirrell fight. So I saw it in many fights. So what does it tell me? So judges are sometimes looking wrong fights. So I'm not talking as Matchroom or DAZN. I'm talking about judges. And judges will say, wow, Canelo, oh, you saw his right, you saw his left, how he hit it. And then Avni maybe gives him a counter punch and say, okay, you see Canelo. And then you watch a fight second time and then you see different, oh my God, this guy was really good. I'm right or wrong?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Can be. We don't know if it's happened. I hope it happens.
Ahmet, moving forwards onto the fight, how does it play out in your eyes? How's Avni been preparing for Saul Canelo Alvarez?
You know, they are both clever guys. They did sparring. Sizely, there's a little difference. Avni is a little taller. Both are brave. I think it will be an entertaining fight with many hits, with many punches. Hopefully, I think Canelo has a good chin, solid chin, and Avni also has a solid chin normally. But you know, you never know. There's boxing, and then Avni has a good punch. Canelo has a good punch, so that will be a fight with many punches, with many everything. So it will be action-packed fight. Hopefully, it goes to decision, and if anybody loses, hopefully Canelo loses.
I asked Joel Diaz earlier, if Avni wins on Saturday, how big of a win would this be in boxing history? He said it would be as big as when Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua. Nobody expected it and he beat him. Would it be bigger than that in your opinion? Would it be just as big? Your thoughts?
I think it would be bigger because Canelo is very big. Anthony Joshua, to be honest, he's a great fighter, but he has some problems with his chin and he is not so typical man like Canelo. He's more like Vladimir Klitschko in the past. Vitaly was strong. Vladimir is a great boxer, Anthony Joshua. Don't understand me wrong. But in heavyweight, you can always get a punch and fall down. In super middleweight, normally the favorite guys normally don't lose. So, and I think if Canelo loses by knockout, that is a bigger shock. Because it's Canelo, it's Mexico, it's world, it's different. Because nobody expects this. He was, I think, 62-1 favor somewhere I read, Canelo. So this is much. And I don't believe that Ruiz was 62-1 underdog. So, and even Buster Douglas was 42-1. So, and I think realistically, if they would come with 20-1, I would understand it. So.
Avni hasn't been able to fight for the last couple of years, or he hasn't fought for the last couple of years rather, especially with the pandemic. How much of an influence do you think that will play for him on fight night? Will there be ring rust that he will have to factor in and deal with?
No, I think that affected him positive. We catched a better coach. We took care of some of his injuries. We had times with the coronavirus. And the second thing is he rested his brain, his body. Don't underestimate this punching by fights. Sometimes you get punch drunk, you get this. Boxing is not a very healthy sport. And to do many sparrings, to do many fights is not healthy in the age of 28, 29. And I think that gave Avni a longer space of life. A time is changing. And he's young, he's still young, he's motivated. Canelo also had a rest of 1 year and then he fought Callum Smith. And Callum Smith did not give him a hell of a fight. It was a one-sided fight. Of course, preparation tough, 12 rounds is tough. And I think also made him a little tired because don't forget, he fought on 19 December. After this, I think he partied. He hung around, went to Ryan Garcia, London, whatever, so traveled. And I think he was thinking that is an easy walk in the park. So looks like for them. And I think we have no disadvantage of the 2 years because Avni proved a good fight against Anthony Dirrell.
Talking about working with Joel Diaz for Avni, how has he found that and why did he decide to link up with Joel out of any other trainer he was working with?
I found Joel Diaz through a friend from a promoter. And we were before with Abel Sanchez. But Abel Sanchez is a nice man, nice human being, but he's, how to say, very isolated living in Big Bear. It's too much for a guy from Turkey hanging around all in the village house. So, and then in the beginning, Abel was for him a good thing, good experience, wow, from TV, from where. But then when we come to Joel Diaz, he's a man of full energy. He's so positive. He's a maker. He delivers. He loves boxing. He's organized. He has a great gym, great house, great family. He's a man, a real man. And he is no man. He talks to everybody. He gives interviews. He's nice, polite, helpful. And he is like a father figure to Avni. Avni feels very happy with him because there's the one guy, he takes care for Avni, for every need, for everything. He has a nice son, is like Avni's brother. They took him in his family, make his food, whatever, what I was so for. But I have 2 sons, I have wife, I have horse, dog, I have my sons there, then I have Avni, but I am not a coach. So, and as a coach, also spends a lot of time with Avni, and now they are in India, and Joel Diaz really takes care for my Avni, and that gives Avni a real power, and he is a pro. He knows what he's talking. He beat Manny Pacquiao with one of his fighters. He had Matisse. He has many champions, bro. He's experienced. I think he was sometimes coach of the year, whatever. So he is the coach. Who is better than him? Show me. And people say Ed Reynoso. He's a great coach too. So we are Champions League. One is coach of Barcelona, and we will see what kind of coach Joel Diaz is. And Joel Diaz proved himself that he's a great one. Now we will see if Avni picks up.
How much confidence will Avni take from his previous sparring with Canelo?
Avni is... You know why I called Avni Mr. Robot? Even he's not fighting like a robot anymore. Avni don't give a fuck. Avni don't give a shit. Avni for him is boxing, business, not business. Get punching, it's no problem. And he thinks he was not the same Avni like today, who is, and Canelo was also not the same Canelo like. So he said, okay, we did sparring, so what? Sparring is no fight. So I think people overrate the sparring too much. So what is it with 16 ounce gloves, and I don't see much in the sparring.
Just a couple more things I want to touch on. One thing has been Avni's support. I've seen some videos over social media of Turkish fans just kind of rallying in the streets, marching for him with banners and what have you. I don't know whether you've seen it or not, but how big is the support that Avni has back in Turkey?
Avni has a lot of Turkish followers, Turkish fans. They are hungry for success. So our Turkish fans overlook already Canelo. Yeah, I tell you the truth. They don't think Canelo is... you should not overlook him, but our Turkish fans are crazy. So they see Avni already winning, bringing the belt to Turkey. So our Turkish fans are positive crazy. They are enthusiastic, they are emotional, and they love him. So, and this is, of course, giving Avni a kick. And but we have to keep Avni cool. We can't give him too much, because then you have overconfidence, and then so we have to control it. So it's positive, and sometimes you have to be very carefully.
And final thing, Ahmet, I've heard Avni the other day say he'd love to rematch Chris Eubank Jr. Do you think that's realistic or possible after the Canelo fight?
It depends how Avni performs against Canelo. If the channel people want to see him, of course. Avni and Chris Eubank have an open bill, because that was not the Avni. And Chris Eubank, to be honest, that can happen what happened to Avni. But Chris Eubank did not show nothing, was George Groves, and after it. So I think, in my opinion, Chris Eubank is totally, through the loss of Avni, in my opinion, totally overrated. So nothing special, nothing. Even he'll beat him. Who gives a shit? That can happen in boxing if you fight an unexperienced guy. So, you will tell me Ronaldo did not shoot the penalty against any, and then you say Ronaldo's shit? So he missed the goal? No. Avni missed the goal. What happened in the past Avni after 3 rounds? Would he survive the 3 rounds, not do any mistake, come to the 5th round, he would beat Chris Eubank also, that Avni. So Avni today will destroy, eat him. To breakfast, lunch, dinner. He eat him to breakfast, and before he goes to dinner, he goes to the closet and takes the rest out of Chris Eubank.
Ahmet, final word for everybody who will tune in and support your man on Saturday. What would you like to say to them?
To everybody, thank you very much. I thank Matchroom, WBC, DAZN for the opportunity, and Canelo team. They are very brave guys. They took Avni. We feel here like the 300 from Sparta. We are alone against Canelo team. We will fight till we'll die.
Ahmet, thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you very much for your interest.